the Elegoo Jupiter 2. Let's give it a review. Biff, pow, zap, clunk, clunk, ouchie. Hey guys. About a year ago, Mini VogMan made a trip to Rapid TCT in Detroit, and whilst there, no doubt bothering more attractive alter egos, he first saw the massive Jupiter 2. Elegoo's claims were very impressive, and I've been impatiently waiting 12 months to get my hands on this beast. And beast it is, a large resin printer with a build height of 300mm. But massive isn't a selling point, it's something we have to deal with every day. And this isn't a printer you can tuck neatly into a corner. So, fair warning, I'm about to do a little ranting, but it does get better. First off, it's heavy. Not a bit awkward heavy, but genuine two-person lift or unwanted hernia heavy. Despite being a mixture of metal and plastic, it weighs in at 29 kilograms. Then there's the issue of space. I can't help but think that Elegoo designed this printer to sit in the middle of a room, because on my 600mm deep workbench, I really struggle. The twin doors open out wide, giving ample access to the interior, something obviously necessary for larger prints. But these doors demand serious elbow room, and on my already cluttered workbench, it is a nuisance. But to be fair, I'll take this inconvenience every day over the stupidly large lift-off lid found on the Jupiter SE. Though for true space-saving convenience, Elegoo should really have looked more closely at their competitors, whose flip-top lid designs, in my opinion, are so much more practical. With the swinging doors demanding their own real estate, it's not surprising that the USB port sits on the right-hand side, but strangely, not the power switch. It's as if some bright spark at Elegoo turned around and said, "Hey, you know this printer is tall, heavy, and takes up way too much room on both sides? Let's put the switch at the back." The power cable, fine, but the switch, really? That's always going to be an awkward reach. Here we can also find a little panel for connecting an external air vent, if you like annoying your neighbours with odours. And there's also these strange protrusions. Well, long-standing viewers will know that I loathe autofeeders. They're tediously slow on the rare occasions they actually work, and honestly, pouring resin into a vat isn't really an exercise that demands automating. But other people must love them as manufacturers keep making them, and this behemoth runs on one of these typically tiny pumps, so you just know I was expecting terrible results. But the real issue with this craziness is where it actually attaches, at the top rear of the printer. Elegoo developers, please pick a side. We don't all have 360-degree access to our printers. Call me stupid, but a flip-top lid and accessories in one location doesn't really seem to be that much to ask. Fortunately, despite some questionable decisions by Elegoo's D&D department, the Jupiter 2 is actually quite an impressive printer. The build plate is huge, as it needs to be with these printing dimensions. It's a little weighty, but there's two good handles, and Elegoo's typical laser-edged surface should certainly help prints grip nicely. It clamps securely onto the Z-arm, though this lever does feel a little flimsy to me. When I first saw the resin tray, I noted these protrusions and thought, tray clamps. But actually, they're not. They're part of a quick liner release system. The tray, of course, is massive, with reasonable handles and a pouring spout. The sharp-eyed may think this max level indicator looks quite low on such a big tray, and that's because, thanks to the extra large build plate, the tray only holds around 1 litre of resin. The tray itself incorporates a heating system, something I'm always happy to see in my cool workshop. Warm resin is happy resin, and it consistently produces far better prints than cold resin. But this heater isn't adjustable, warming the resin up to 30 degrees Celsius every time. But in fairness, this should be fine for the vast majority of resins. It certainly coped admirably in my 16-degree workshop, and it even lightly mixes the resin during the warming process. It does seem strange, however, that this new age tray is held in place with medieval fastenings. Fortunately, Elegoo's astute D&D department have suggested how we can utilise these removable bolts, wedging them beneath the resin tray to pull the resin near the pump inlet. Inside, this aforementioned pump inlet outlet can be flipped out of the way during tank removal. There's also a 1280 by 720 resolution camera with a built-in LED light. For me, the light worked great, but the camera was extremely temperamental, refusing to connect when the printer was actually printing and failing to provide a single time-lapse video. Luckily, I would imagine that these are simple software issues that will hopefully get sorted with future updates. There's a fairly typical dual linear rail and screw setup, and it certainly does seem to move the build plate smoothly. The biggest advance on the Jupiter range is this 16K screen, which provides us with 20 by 26 microns of XY resolution, which is a massive upgrade on the somewhat prehistoric 51 microns we saw on the other Jupiters. I confess I'm not keen on these portrait aspect menu screens that Elegoo seems to favour now, preferring instead the good old horizontal screens. Firstly, the text can often be very small and often has me nose to screen just trying to read it. Secondly, at certain points, touchable icons are stupidly small in comparison to my ample fingers, and yet somehow, strangely, it actually seems to work despite this, reducing my complaint to a murmur. The user interface is the same one we've seen on other Elegoo printers. It's clear, other than the occasional tiny text, intuitive and responsive. It also includes such useful features as resin calibration tools. Importantly, it enables you to both enable and disable the Resin Autofeed system, which, shockingly, I have yet to actually do. Dun dun dun! The Jupiter 2 has built-in Wi-Fi, which for me worked without fault, enabling firmware updates and file transfers thanks to the Slicer software. Now, at the time of this video, I believe the only slicer available for the Jupiter 2 was Elegoo Satellite, which given its similarities is, I'm guessing, a derivative of Voxel Dance Tango. Elegoo are typically gregarious with their systems, and I would imagine other slicers will soon pop up to support the Jupiter 2. In the meantime, I've found Satellite easy enough to get along with and certainly capable of slicing files and sharing them across my home network. However, as previously stated, when it came to the camera, despite excellent network connection, it just let me down. But without a doubt for me, the biggest shock was the autofeeder. I loaded in a 2kg bottle of Elegoo resin, stuck pretty much with the slicer suggestions, and got printing. Frankly, I was astounded that it actually worked, spitting out resin into the tray. Sure, there was a lot of stopping and starting, but resin successfully flowed into the tank. Okay, it probably took about 20 minutes, whereas I could have manually poured in resin in under 10 seconds. But hey, that's Autofeed systems for you. And, more incredibly, it actually managed to return the resin to the bottle upon command. Okay, I needed a shave a few times whilst I waited for this to happen, but it did succeed. And that's a refreshingly new experience for me. I was so impressed that throughout the whole week of print tests, I never added or removed resin manually, and I just left the setup doing its thing, which was, get this, 100% successful. It's worth mentioning, of course, that the build plate arrives pre-leveled, but also auto-levels with every print, though manual calibration is possible if necessary. Thankfully, in my case, it wasn't, and everything worked perfectly. When it came to the actual printing, it's fair to say that I was impressed. Now, big printers are always slow, doubtless because of the extra forces in play, like increased suction, torque, and even dwell times, and the Jupiter 2 is no different. It actually took 100 minutes to print the cones of calibration print, which I've seen print in a third of that time on smaller machines. But that's just the physics of larger printers, and it's something that you'll need to accept if this is the kind of machine you want. There's a great deal of clarity to these prints, and remember that this is just standard Elegoo resin, nothing fancy or expensive. In the hand, these prints do not disappoint, and the crisp definition from this 16K screen makes this the best Jupiter to date, so the D&D department certainly got that right. The same prints with anti-aliasing enabled prove to my eyes at least that some degree of voxel softening is taking place, but frankly I prefer the prints without AA. So what do I think of the Elegoo Jupiter 2? Well, someone needs a slap. This should be a great printer, but thanks to some very poor planning, the shine just isn't as bright as it should be. The doors take up too much room, and a flip-top lid would have served it much better. Some consistency over switch and port placement would have been welcomed, and placing the Autofeed system at the top rear of a very heavy printer is frankly bonkers. I wish that the Autofeed system was actually an added extra, because without it, this printer would have been cheaper and in my opinion would have scored far more practicality points. My built-in camera was useless, but I suspect software updates will fix that. And miracle of miracles, I've finally been introduced to an Autofeed system that actually worked. But let's be fair, printers print, and that's all we really need them to do, and the Jupiter 2 prints beautifully. Printing is slow, as is always the case on large printers, but the quality of prints is excellent, and honestly, if you've got the space for it, this could realistically replace the need for smaller printers and give you wider printing scope. At the time of this video, the Jupiter 2 was available on pre-launch at $859 US, and that's certainly cheaper than similar spec competitors, though how the Jupiter 2 endures over time, we'll have to wait and see. As typical, there is an affiliate link in the description which will earn your old mate VogMan a few pennies if you want to use that. So, all in all, I have to say, this is a capable printer which will please you with its results. It's got a few quirks, and I've tried to air these fairly, but ultimately, I have to confess that I do like it. Frankly, I'm utterly shocked that I've been won over by an Autofeed system. And that's it for this video, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. As always, if you've got any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below. So take care, guys, and thanks for watching.